Will you ever revisit the Stage 3 93 tunes for EA837?
Where is this?
Is that question
Stage
number
3 tunes? No, one. That's
So-
not
someone-
93 tunes.
Someone's basically they're basically saying that our Stage 3
Oh, this is
93
on the
is
B9.
not as fast as some of the other
This is on the
options.
B9.
Correct.
Yeah, sorry, 839. I don't know. Are we doing that? I think there was some
We
talk
have
about that a while
we
ago.
have a ton of stuff in the works. We are revamping a lot of the tunes right now. We've got a bunch of different software updates in the works. Those vehicles specifically, I don't know that it's a comparison worth making without any further information. So
Yeah, I would say that the comparison sparks
yeah, it's
some initial interest, but yeah, it's hard to say what's being compared. But
Yeah.
but I think we are in the process of always optimizing all of our tunes. We've already made several upgrades and improvements to that tune. We've made dozens to the B8 tunes. Over
Yeah, and if it's something we feel is a responsible update that we can do safely, yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
you'll get it.
yeah, and that's a good point.
If it's stringing it out to the last ounce of its life for a car, then that's not what we're after.
Yeah, and this is something you'll hear us talking more about next week when we release the piece I was referring to. But there is a margin of safety that we not only are committed to operating in, but we feel we have to, being a reputable business that puts its customers' wants and needs as a top priority. And the closer you get to the edge, the more willing you're going, the more willing you are to go over the edge, the faster you can go. And this would be sort of like, I'm trying to think of a real world analogy, but let's say there's two bungee jumping outfits, and one lets you get within 50 feet of the ground, and there's another one. They're a little smaller. They just got started, and they'll set the bungee so that you get within 2 feet of the ground, and you probably won't hit it. But God, is it exciting! And it's also a little bit cheaper too. So we're gonna be the outfit that's like, hey, we guarantee you'll never hit the ground. That's not.
We're not. We're
never gonna let that happen. Even if the bungee rips a little bit and gets stretched, or the temperature is hot enough that the elasticity of the bungee cord increases by 5%. We've taken all that into account, and you'll never get within 50 feet of the ground. That way you won't die. So some of this stuff sounds great. A couple miles an hour trap speed sounds really awesome, but how much safety are you giving up to do that? And so that's something that we take into account. And so I think the user went on to say that it wasn't even worth it to upgrade to our Stage 3
right.
93 because it's a couple miles an hour slower, and it's like, well, maybe if you're reading the salacious headline, that might make sense. But if you're talking about a properly engineered and calibrated tune that takes the safety systems of the ECU are all kept intact, the ECU is operating as safely as it does from the factory, then it does make sense to spend a little bit of money to upgrade for our 93 file. Now, of course, it goes without saying, but the E85 is where all the power is at anyways, and it produces the most and safest power due to the incredibly high octane rating of E85. So, but we'll make a note to discuss in our weekly meeting to take a look at the 93 file. We are, like Nate said, going through all of our...
We've got a bunch of revisions. We've been making some actual, like, they're not even calibration changes. They're really low level. We can say low level, but they're in the firmware. Some of the core operating methods in how some of the strategies are done inside the ECU.
But to do it better than anyone else.
Yeah, we just to do it. Yeah, exactly. Better than anyone else is currently, and the way we feel is the right way to do it for what we're trying to accomplish. So we've got more of that coming across the board. We were out testing at Laguna with that, with a bunch of other stuff. So
yeah. But I'll just I just want to reiterate before I finish that I think that perspective that it's not even worth it, because I think that's a very limited perspective, and I would challenge you to
Right.
think a little bit more about what you're actually getting when you buy our tune.